Sam Ellard is back with us. You promised that we were going to be talking about this.
Let's do it, Natalie. Yes, and I think all week there's been some brilliant pieces on Brentford as they get ready for their Premier League debut. And this morning, a really nice piece in the Mail on Ivan Toney. The headline, Toney, the Tiger, from a Newcastle reject to roaring up with Brentford, Craig Hope and Matt Barlow. They write this morning, on a summer's night 6 years ago in front of 470 souls at Whiteley Park in North Tyneside, Ivan Toney made his debut for Newcastle under-23s in the consensus, nowhere near first team standard and not ever likely to be. It was an opinion that barely altered during the course of his 3 years at the club. But what Toney has achieved since then is 82 goals in 3 years with Peterborough and Brentford. His tally of 31 in the Championship last season means the 25-year-old will line up tonight as a Premier League player when the Bees kick off the campaign at home to Arsenal. Natalie, you've seen more of him than most. Two questions, really. Firstly, what sort of centre-forward is he? And do you think he's good enough to make the step up from the Championship to the Premier League?
What I love about Ivan Toney is that, yes, as you point out, he gets goals, 31 goals, but none of those goals were from outside the box, which obviously shows you he's a poacher, perhaps. He's an out-and-out striker, but he also is so unselfish. Is happy to set up other players, never gives up on a lost cause. When we're defending set pieces, he's one of the first to the ball. So he does everything. There's a lot more to his game than just scoring goals, but my goodness, he scored some really important goals. And penalty-wise, oh my goodness, if you haven't seen the way he takes a penalty, you'll be in for a treat, because...
It's one step, isn't it?
One step.
I saw it against Watford.
Watford, yes, that's
he
right.
He scored, didn't he?
Yeah. So it puts the fear into me when I see him taking a penalty, because there is no run-up. He's just standing at the ball, and then... I spoke to him about this, actually, and I sounds like I'm dismissing him completely. I was just saying, you just stand at the ball and you just kick it and it goes in.
I think
that's what you've got to do now.
I know, but there's no run-up, there's no
I've never seen a penalty
being
being taken like that. But he's clearly a confident character, I was going to say. But a lot of people, I think, as he sort of, came more and more in people's heads over the past couple of weeks, and stuff, a lot of, pieces of him in the papers and stuff. I think a lot of people really, when I listen to him, I think he speaks really well. He seems a really good character and everything. And here, look at this in the paper today, guys. There's a great picture of him. The power of positive inking. Ivan Toney has turned his body into a canvas. A brilliant picture of all the tattoos he's got. He's got the number 17 on his chest. He's got some family members on there, a kitten, a tiger, a lion, a clock as well. So he's a real character. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy watching him play this season in the Premier League. Ray, on Arsenal, some pieces as well on the Gunners in today's papers. In the Mail, Arteta says we will prove everyone wrong. In the Times this morning, Arteta is running out of excuses as old issues remain. There's a really good piece in the Telegraph this morning on Ben White, ready for top table after lower tier education. Sam Dean says the £50 million recruit will not be phased after meticulous development by Brighton that saw him climb up the league ladder. Also in the Mirror this morning, John Cross, the headline in his piece, Arsenal were once the Invincibles, but now they are just the outsiders. Again, like the Times one, Arteta running out of excuses, old issues remain. My fear, Ray, with Arsenal, after a really tough year last season, I don't think it's been the best transfer window. I know Ben White's come in. Other than that,
it's not finished yet.
Not finished yet, Ray.
They're still working on a couple of moves. I think they still need a number 10, definitely, and striker. They'll be trying to bring a striker in before that window closes.
Do you worry, Ray, after a tough year last year, fans back in now this season, if Arsenal get off to a tough start, it could turn toxic. Fans
got
could
Chelsea
quickly
and City
turn
in
on
the first 5 games, so it's not the easiest. And then they've got a North London derby quite early in the season.
Is a quick start for Arsenal essential, do you think?
Yeah,
the pressure Arteta's under.
It's a huge game tonight. It really is. If they can get off to a winning start, which is going to be difficult because we know Brentford will be absolutely flying tonight. Back in the Premier League, in the Premier League for the first time, they're going to be right up for it, which you expect. So I do worry about tonight. But if they can get a win tonight, which they're capable of, if every player turns up and plays their part, they can get a win. Then they've got to look forward, and momentum and belief has got to be there for the players. But I'm sure there will be a little bit more business done before the end of the transfer window. Again, it's like a game of poker. It's who gives in first. They'll be looking at players, they'll be putting bids in, and the other side will be saying, well, wait a minute, we want more money, and it usually ends up in the middle. But tonight is a tricky game, I must admit.
Well, I mentioned Ivan Toney, a lot of eyes on him. Of course,
he'll be coming
up against Ben White, won't he, as well? A lot of eyes on Ben White too. I mean,
Well, he certainly will improve the back four. I think they will play with a back four tonight, 4-2-3-1. Smith Rowe's going to have, I'm hoping he has a good season. He finished the season really well. He's got that famous number 10 shirt on now. I'm really hoping he improves. Obviously, Saka's going to come back into that side as well. It'll probably be Pepe tonight on one side, Aubameyang on the other, and with Lacazette up top. I should imagine that's how they'll line up. With El Neni, probably with his experience in midfield, with no Partey, and Xhaka alongside him. So that's how they'll line up. But you know, all eyes will be on Brentford tonight. How they start the season, how they
trying to put the pressure back on you. It's
not
about Arsenal tonight.
No, look, it's the first time in the top level for how many years I don't know.
1947.
Well, of course. So let's put all the. It's all going to be about Brentford tonight, not Arsenal. Arsenal have got a tricky season in front of them. As I said before, they've got to try and get back into that Europa League positions if they can, which is not easy. The top four is going to be difficult. I mean, I think they're about 7-2 to get in the top four, which is for me a little bit skinny. The price there. Yeah, I think they should be a little bit bigger than that, because
especially how good
when I'm looking at Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, and Manchester United, 4 teams now. But you know, they've got to believe they can do it. And no one believed Leicester could win the league a few seasons ago, and they did it. West Ham, great season last year, getting into that Europa League. So that's what Arsenal got to try and believe. No European football, longer to recover in between games. So I don't expect as many injuries as last season. So, look, I'm always optimistic, but I don't think it's going to be tough to get in that top four this season.
I'll tell you what, it has been a strange build-up to this season. As a Brentford fan, seeing so many articles on Brentford, I mean, it's balmy for us fans, that's for sure. It, though, we are going to enjoy it. And, you know, maybe that plays into Arsenal's hands, because there's so much focus on Brentford that they've kind of gone about things a bit more quieter, shall we say. Sam, thanks you guys very much. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Ray Parlour and Natalie Sawyer.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.